I will say this, Avery. He done figure out a path to go through life. I don't agree with it, but he done fixed it so he can go right through it real smooth. Hell, he liable to end up with $1,000,000 that he done got from selling bread and wine.
Ow! Be still, Maritha. If you was a boy, I wouldn't have to go through this.
Don't you tell that girl that. Why you want to tell her that?
You ain't got nothing to do with this child.
Telling her she wish she was a boy, how's that going to make her feel?
Boy, Willie, go on and leave me alone. Why don't you leave her alone? What you got to pick on her for? Why don't you go out there and see what's out there in the streets? Have something to tell the fellas down home.
I'm waiting on Lime to get back with that truck. Why don't you go out and see what's on the streets? You ain't got to work tomorrow. Talking about me. Why don't you go out there? It's Friday night.
I got to stay around and keep y'all from killing one another.
You ain't got to worry about me. I'm going to be here just as long as it takes Lime to get back here with that truck. Talk about me. You ought to be talking to Bernice. Sitting up here telling Maritha she wish she was a boy. What kind of thing is that to tell a child? If you want to tell her something, tell her about that piano. You even told her about that piano. Like that's something to be ashamed of. Like she's supposed to go off and hide somewhere about that piano. You ought to mark down on the calendar the day that Papa Boy Charles brought that piano into the house. You ought to mark that day down and draw a circle around it. And have a party. And every year, when it come up, have a party, have a celebration. If you did that, she wouldn't have no problem in life. She could walk around here with her head held high. I'm talking about a big party. Invite everybody. Mark that day down with a special meaning. That way she know where she at in the world. You got her going out here thinking she wrong in the world like there ain't no part of it belong to her.
Let me take care of my child. When you get one of your own, you can teach it what you want to teach.
What do I want to bring a child into this world for? What do I want to bring somebody else into all this for? I tell you this, if I was Rockefeller, I'd have 40 or 50. I'd make one every day because they're going to start out in life with all the advantages. I ain't got no advantages to offer anybody. Many is the time I looked at my daddy and see him staring off at his own hands. I got a little older and I know what he was thinking. He's sitting there saying, I got these big old hands, but what am I going to do with them? Best I could do is make a 50-acre crop for Mr. Stovall. Got these big old hands capable of doing anything. I can take and build something with these hands, but what there's the tools. All I got is these hands unless I go out here and kill somebody and take what they got. It's a long road to hoe for me to get something of my own. So what am I going to do with these big old hands? What would you do? See, now, if he had had his own land, he wouldn't have felt that way. If he had something under his feet that belonged to him, he could stand up taller. That's what I'm talking about. Hell, the land is there for everybody. All you got to do is figure out how to get you a piece. Ain't no mystery to life. You just got to go out and meet it square on. If you got a piece of land, you find everything else fall right into place. You could stand right up there next to the white man and talk about the price of cotton, the weather, and anything else you want to talk about. If you teach that girl that she living at the bottom of life, she going to grow up and hate you.
I'm going to teach her the truth. That's just where she living. Only she ain't got to stay there. Turn your head around to the other side.
This might be your bottom, but it ain't mine. I'm living at the top of life. I ain't going to just take my life and throw it away at the bottom. I'm in the world like everybody else. The way I see it, everybody else got to come up and get a little taste to be where I am.
You at the bottom with the rest of us.
I'll tell you this, and ain't a living soul can put a back on it. If you believe that's where you at, then you're going to act that way. If you act that way, then that's where you're going to be. It's as simple as that. Ain't no mystery to life. I don't know how you come to believe that stuff. Crawley didn't think like that. He wasn't living at the bottom of life. Papa Boy Charles and Mama Ola wasn't living at the bottom of life. You ain't never heard them say nothing like that. They would have taken a strap to if they heard you say something like that. Hey, Doka, Bernice say the color folks is living at the bottom of life. I try to tell her if she think that way, that's where she's going to be. You think you living at the bottom of life? Is that how you see yourself?
I'm just living the best way I know how. I ain't thinking about no top or no bottom.
That's what I tried to tell Bernice. I don't know where she got that from. That sounds like something Avery would say. Everything because the white man got him a turkey for Thanksgiving. That makes him better than everybody else. That's going to raise him out of the bottom of life. I don't need nobody to give me a turkey. I can get my own turkey. All I have to do is get out of my way. I'll get me 2 or 3 turkeys.
You can't even get a chicken, let alone 2 or 3 turkeys. Talking about get out your way. Ain't nobody in your way. Straighten your head, Martha. Don't be bending down like that. Hold your head. All you got going for you is talk. Your whole life, that's all you ever got going for you.
See now, I'll tell you something about me. I done strung along and strung along, going this way and that, whatever way would lead me to a moment of peace. That's all I want. To be as easy with everything. But I wasn't born to that. I was born to a time of fire. The world ain't want no part of me. I could see that since I was about 7. The world says it's better off without me. See, Bernice accept that. She trying to come up to where she can prove something to the world. Hell, the world a better place because of me. I don't see like Bernice. I got a heart that beats here and it beats just as loud as the next fellows. Don't care if it's black or white. Sometimes it beats louder. When it beats louder, then everybody can hear it. Some people get scared of that like Bernice. Some people get scared to hear a nigga's heart beating. They think you ought to lay low with that heart. Make it be quiet and go along with everything the way it is. But my mama ain't birthed me for nothing. So what I got to do? I got to mark my passing on the road, just like you write on the tree, boy, Willie was here. That's all I'm trying to do with that piano. Trying to put my mark on the road like my daddy done. My heart say for me to sell that piano and get some land so I can make a life for myself to live in my own way. Other than that, I ain't thinking about nothing Bernice got to say.